Hi guys, Sergey from Sergey Green Studio here. We provide photography and videography service here in Los Angeles. Welcome back to our channel. I know it's been a while since I uploaded the last video, but as you can see by this background, we changed the location and the light is not here yet, but that's secondary. The most important, I'll be able to keep sharing my experience with you guys. And today's topic is the winter weddings, how to prepare for the winter weddings and how to build the timeline specifically for the winter time weddings. I'm not going to be talking about what to dress and how to prepare and things like that. I'm going to be talking specifically about the timelines. And the reason being is because I did few of the weddings in the past couple of months, and all of them, lots of them, had the similar mistake, and I'll try to explain it in this video. And at the end, I'll give you the lifetime examples. Of course, I'm not going to be mentioning date and the names and everything like that, but I'm going to give you the examples of the pretty typical mistakes when planning your wedding and how to easily to avoid them. So let's get started. First of all, and it's my suggestion, when you build in the timeline for the winter wedding, you should start from the sunset, always. I mean, when you plan in the summertime wedding, it's not as crucial, I would say. You're still going to be looking at the sunset time. But for the winter wedding, it's absolutely important, and you might be surprised by that time. So just Google it, actually. Just ask, hey Google, what is the sunset on December 10th, and start with this number. I put down right over here 3 different timelines. First one with the first look, another one without the first look. Let's say you don't want to do the first look at all. And the third timeline is the one to avoid, I would say. Let's start with the first one, when you can do the first look. And that's the best case scenario because you can move your ceremony back and forth. You're free to do that. And over here, I'm going to be mentioning two the most common scenarios, let's say. So again, let's say your sunset at 4:45. That was my recent wedding when the sunset was at 4:45. What does it mean for you? It does mean that after that time, you're not going to have pretty much any light for your wedding party pictures, for your family pictures, and of course for your sunset pictures, for the pictures of 2 of you. So what it tells you that you want to do everything right over here on the left part. And basically the sunset is separating the day for us, for the photographers and videographers, to the day with the light and with the day with no light. And without the light, it's pretty hard for us to work. It's very hard to magically light up the whole background and everything else. Of course, we're gonna be able to do the wedding party pictures or the group pictures even after the sunset. We're just gonna put a bunch of flashes and everything like that, but it's not going to look as nice as if we would have the natural daylight. So anyway, let's come back over here. So let's say your sunset at 4:45. What you want to do over here, you want to place your ceremony somewhere at 4 the latest. And that's because if you do your ceremony at 4, of course, you're not going to put this exact time on your invitation. You're going to put something like 3:45. So people are going to be late for 15 minutes and the actual ceremony starts at 4. But that's another topic of how to plan the entire wedding timeline. We're talking here specifically about the winter one. So let's say your ceremony starts at 4 and it's probably going to finish about 4:30. And in this case, if we've done everything before the ceremony, if you had the first look, then the only thing that is left is your sunset pictures. And we would be able to do them somewhere between like 4:30, 4:45. Actually, it's a little bit better to start earlier, but you got an idea. So in this case, if your ceremony at 4, you probably want to take a break at 3:30 because you don't want your guest who's just arriving to the ceremony site to see you. You want to take a break, right? That means that you're going to go upstairs or to you getting ready room somewhere at 3:30. And because of that, we want to finish with all of the pictures by that time. And by that, I mean wedding party pictures, the first look, of course, because if you're not going to do the first look, you cannot really do the wedding party pictures together. And some might say that you can do the separate pictures of the guys separately and the girls separately, and then do both of them together. But honestly, it's not going to save time, and it's only going to add few awkward situations here and there. So I would highly recommend to do the first look and to do the wedding party pictures right after that over here. You also want to do your family pictures, of course, and over here you actually have 2 options. First options is you can do your family pictures right after the wedding party pictures. But in this case, you want to make sure that everyone is there. And unfortunately, in the real-time situation, the real-life situation, it's a very rare scenario, and we ended up doing the family pictures after the ceremony just because some of the members of the family is not there, or they misunderstanding the directions and the timeline, so they're not actually there before the ceremony. So in this case, if you're really sure that your family member is going to be there and we will able to do the family pictures over here, then let's do that. If you're not quite sure and you can base that on the previous experiences with your family members, we would better do this right over here. So in this case, ceremony shift from 4 to 3:30. And in this case, we're going to have enough time for the family pictures and the sunset pictures as well. I think you got an idea over here. And again, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer, or just shoot me an email and I'll be glad to explain it to you everything. Also over here, I want to mention that you have the option of doing the ceremony right away, right at the beginning, and that might be a good idea as well. So let's say you did the first look, or you haven't done, so it doesn't really matter, and you did your ceremony at 2:30. Well, after that, you're free to do everything you want. So if you did your ceremony at 2:30, let's say you finish at 3, right after that you did the family pictures. By 3:30, from 3:30 to 4, you did your wedding party pictures all together and separately, and then you have another 45 minutes for the sunset pictures of 2 of you. So everything going to go like very nice and smooth. Another option, another timeline, let's say you're not doing your first look. Like, this is kind of weird, but for the next video it's going to be perfect. So let's say you not doing your first look, right over here. So in this case, honestly, you don't really have an option to do your ceremony on the sunset. I know you might want to do this, but it's not an option, unfortunately. So you would have to do your ceremony somewhere at 2:30. That's pretty much the only option, because if you don't do your ceremony and you don't do your first look, you cannot really do the group shots, you cannot really do the family pictures, probably because your family wants 2 of you on the photos. And you cannot really do anything before you actually seeing each other. So if you're not having the first look, your pretty much only option is to do your ceremony at 2:30. Do it from 2:30 to 3, then do the group shots, and all the way as I've explained it previously. In this case, you're going to have enough time for your sunset pictures and everything like that. And the third timeline is the one to avoid. And I'll try to explain it to you on 2 weddings that I did recently. First one, we did And that's really unfortunate for me because it was one of the most beautiful wedding dresses I've ever seen for the last years. And the bride was absolutely insanely beautiful, and the groom was very handsome, and we didn't have enough time for the sunset picture. So that's probably one of the reasons why I want to make this video, in order to avoid this mistake in the future. And I know that that's complete responsibility of the wedding planner to put the timeline together properly, and it's not a photographer's responsibility. But the next time I would insist on me going through the whole timeline and changing if needed. But anyway, let's talk about the timeline to avoid. So as I said, on this first example, we had the ceremony on the actual sunset. So we had it on at 4:30, I think. So it started not 4:30, it started a little bit late because we had some sort of issues with the sound, and the family members were stuck in the traffic, which is actually a pretty typical situation, and you want to keep in mind that as well. So we started it late. We didn't have any first look or anything like that, so all this time we spent taking pictures of the getting ready shots. I also did the wedding the reception details. I did the ceremony details and things like that, but because we haven't seen each other before the ceremony, I wasn't able to do family pictures or the wedding party or anything like that. So we had to do everything after. And what happened is that the ceremony started exactly on the sunset. We finished slightly past the sunset. We started doing all the family pictures after the sun is completely set, like 15 minutes after that. Of course, I was able to put my flashes and everything, and the group shot looked, I would say, decent. I mean, there is nothing you can do about the background. I cannot magically light up the whole background, but the group pictures were looking pretty nice. The wedding party was pretty small, so we did them fairly quick as well. But the sunset pictures of the couple, unfortunately, we missed them, and I really want to just grab this couple of weeks from now and just go to the beach and do these photos properly, because I just don't want to miss this opportunity, really. But unfortunately, we had to pretty much skip this part. I did few shots here and there, but they were in complete darkness, with the flashes here and there, but still it's not comparable to absolutely gorgeous sunset light with the opposite sun and everything like that. So that was the first scenario. The second wedding was when we had a ceremony at the church, and then we did I think we did the family pictures at the church as well, and then we moved to the park to do wedding party pictures and the sunset pictures of two of you. And I guess the wedding planner miscalculated the sunset time because we did, again, everything pretty much after the actual sunset. We missed it by, I think, like half an hour or so. So we didn't get this magical lighting or anything. Again, because of the modern cameras and the lighting and the expensive lenses and everything, we were able to get some light, but it wasn't ideal. So what I want to say with these examples and with this imaginary timeline, I would say that every time you plan the winter wedding timeline, what you want to do, you want to Google your actual sunset time. So let's say, as I said, December 10th, your sunset time is 4:45. You just put it right over here on the timeline, right over here, and that's it. You planning everything based on that. And keep in mind, you cannot really do much on this side of the spectrum. You just don't really have the light over there. I mean, you would do your ceremony over here with all the beautiful speeches and dances and everything like that, but everything with the pictures should be done on this side. And this is really, really important to understand. And you want to make sure, of course, you want to trust your wedding planner, but you want to make sure, you want to double check that the sunset time is put it in the wedding line accurately, that it's not miscalculated by half an hour or an hour. And I'm talking about the wedding planner, I'm not talking about the day off wedding planner, because it's not really accurate description and they don't really exist, but that's the different story for the different video. Of course, if it's miscalculated, your wedding gonna go the way it should, and our eyes get used to the different lighting situation very quickly, so you might not even notice that the sun is gone, you still can see the things. But for the camera, for the photo camera and for the video camera and everything, it's a completely different situation and it's crucial. And at the end of the day, you're hiring us, photographers and videographers, to get perfect video and perfect photos. And we primarily working with the light, so it's super, super important for us to have the proper timeline. From my end, what I'm gonna do from now on, I'm gonna be checking all the timelines, and if something doesn't align with my plans on taking pictures and video. And again, another thing, if you have both photographers and videographers, keep in mind that they both need time to do their magic, so we need a little bit more time for everything. But what I'm gonna do from now on, I'm just gonna be checking all of the timelines specifically and adjusting them accordingly if needed. Overall, I think you got an idea where to start. And again, you should start from the sunset time. I cannot really stress enough how important it is. You should start right over there and build everything from there. If you still have any questions, please leave them in the comments or just shoot me an email. I'll be glad to answer. And I'm actually quite inspired from your comments to do the new video, and you're asking very right questions in the comments. And this way, I'm creating the new video. Actually, all of the inspiration for the video coming from the real life situations, from my real weddings, or from your comments. So comment this video, like them, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet. It's very important for me. I really celebrate each and every subscriber. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.